Ghislaine Maxwell yesterday just got sentenced to 20 years in jail at a low security facility in Danbury, Connecticut. And yeah, no, she got sentenced to 20 years. Okay, how long before she gets Clintoned? I'm just wondering, are we taking bets out here? She's 60, and you know what? Hey, she was just placed on suicide watch, even though she's not suicidal. So I guess somebody needs to run the countdown clock. And I wonder what the bets are. Okay, I wonder what you can get good money on, because you think 20 years? You think, okay, like this is a low security facility. Okay, she was supposed to get 30 years. She only got 20. Okay, like the prosecution was asking for 30, and then the judge, in her infinite wisdom, just decided, she's a woman. She's like an old woman too, and yeah, no, how about 20 years, because we know that she was probably like one of the chief groomers, and whenever somebody's running a cult like this, it's always easier if they have a female liaison in order to do all of the brainwashing that's down there. But you know what, she was just another one of these victims of Jeffrey Epstein, so we need to go easy on her. Okay. Or maybe it's somebody got slipped a note and it's like, please make it easy on us. Okay. We don't want to have to work on specific cameras here, signed HRC at the bottom. Just wondering, right? And it's like, okay, cool. So she's spending 20 years in jail. How about the names in the black book? You can release them at any time. And by the time that you get out, theoretically, even though, okay, for good behavior, you'll only serve, I think it's like 2/3 of your time. So you'll still be into your 70s at that point. So I know adrenochrome is going to get pretty expensive once you get out. So I don't know, maybe you're waiting to do a big tell-all story for 60 minutes or whatever it'll be in the 2030s, 2040s, whenever you get out. But yeah, man, let's see this. Just another sham that happens, because this is federal court. No cameras, no recordings in federal court. So this just happens in the dead of night, unless you're there in the courtroom. Still have public access to that, but the whole cameras and stuff, nah, that's too much public access. Oh, okay, cool. Ghislaine Maxwell, I don't care about pronouncing her name correctly, she's a fucking groomer, has been sentenced, and probably a pedophile too. Was she scissoring with some of those underage girls? Don't know. Sentenced to 20 years in prison after telling the court meeting Jeffrey Epstein was the biggest regret of my life. Yeah, she really looks like she's very tore up about that in that specific picture. And every other picture as she traveled the world was the right-hand man of one of the most powerful men on planet fucking Earth, okay? Biggest regret of your life, okay? Willing participant, and the only reason that she's regretful of this is because she got caught, okay? And apologized, to her victims, how many of which actually came to testify. So again, man, that's all of the subject material in this case is, it's trifling to say the least. Judge Alison Nathan handed down a 240-month sentence followed by 5 years supervised release. Oh my god, the horror. After calling Maxwell's crime heinous and prefatory. Okay, cool. Why didn't you go for 30? The judge imposed a fine of $750,000 and recommended that she be sent to Danbury, Connecticut Correctional Institution, the low-security federal prison. Her crimes are heinous and prefatory. Low-security federal prison. Okay, cool. Was the inspiration for the fictional prison Netflix show Orange is the New Black. I didn't watch it because I have a good taste. Like Maxwell better acquire if she's going to be in Club Fed for a minute. Ms. Maxwell worked with Epstein to select young victims who were vulnerable and played a pivotal role in facilitating sexual abuse. Yeah, no, exactly. So again, you're not making a good argument here for the lighter sentence at a preferable destination. Just things aren't quite lining up, making it a clear case for a very significant sentence that would send an unmistakable message that such crimes would be punished. Yeah, no, that would have been a very powerful statement if you would have just followed through with what the prosecution was asking for, or just something that would be reasonable for somebody who has such a heinous history. But again, okay, like you're strong with your words, but the follow-up doesn't really mesh too well. There's no parole for federal prison, so Maxwell is likely to serve the entire 20-year sentence, but could potentially be released in a few years early for good behavior. Yeah, no, exactly. Like for state prison, it's either 3/5 or 2/3 of your stay is actually in prison, and then the rest of it you can get out if you're just, if you're being a good boy or girl, you can get out. Don't know quite how it works for Fed, but I'd imagine it's some similar idea as well. She'll probably end up serving at best 15 years. At best 15 years. Let's be honest, is she making it 15 years or 15 months? Okay, that's the bet. After the sentencing, Maxwell's attorney Bobby Sternheim said outside the courtroom, "Our client Ghislaine Maxwell has been vilified, pilloried, and left little room for her to be treated fairly." Well, she was kind of integral to this entire organization, but it was a big regret of hers. You still got to advocate for your client. I understand the statements, but I don't have to like them. Okay. Because even before she stropped forward into this courthouse, weird phrase. Okay. She was being tried and convicted in the court of public opinion. That had nothing to do with anything. Okay. Like, take a look at it right now. It was still on the death certificate. It says suicide next to Jeffrey Epstein. But what's the court of public opinion on that one? Maxwell's brother, Kevin's, briefly spoke following the sentencing and said that they would be solidly behind her during her appeal. Oh yeah, she's going to appeal it as well, okay? And that could have only been facilitated if she was with Epstein, so it's kind of a catch-22, right? You can only fund, okay, the penalty, get the preferential facility on your sentence, wine and dine with world rulers and celebrities of all ilk, but again, children sexually abused, women most affected. Before the sentencing, Maxwell, appearing in a blue prison uniform with shackles around her ankles, oh, what a horrific sight, addressed the court as she said she was fooled by Epstein. Oh, you can say that now that he's dead. "I realize I have been convicted of assisting Jeffrey Epstein to commit these crimes." No, you should have been charged with crimes independent of Epstein, okay, but whatever. "My association with Epstein will permanently stain me." Not for that long, and it probably already has, because it looked like he was kind of a loosey-goosey with his load, so I'm sure you've probably washed out and helped produce several stains. "It is my biggest regret of my life that I ever met him." Oh, yeah, cute. "How long were you guys in a relationship for, or had some sort of an understanding for?" Oh, okay, right. Big regret. Stuck around for decades. Okay. Prosecutors asked Judge Nathan to impose a sentence of at least 30 years because Maxwell's utter lack of remorse. Well, now she does, because she's been caught and she's been sentenced, and realized that the first person on the visitor's book says Bill C. So, don't know exactly what that means, but while Maxwell claims she deserved just 4 years, as she is not a danger to the public. Yeah, because she's too old and nobody will rent her a panel van to facilitate any more hookups. The sentencing marks an end to a decades-long fight for justice to the victims of Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. That's why she only deserves 4 years, because this has been drug out for decades. But, again, some of the claims from some of the victims that are out there, oh, God, I don't really know, okay? But what's for certain is Jeffrey Epstein was doing some fuck shit. I know, hot take, right? And so was Maxwell. But all of these accusations from all of the women that are out there, like, what's her name? Virginia Giuffre, okay? Some of her more fantastical allegations, she didn't even testify at this trial, but again, she's pursuing different civil matters. I mean, look at that poor woman. She's so repressed by that man right there, and she looks like she's in just an immense amount of regret about her decisions. But her final words before she meets a harrowing fate at the end of a bed sheet: "Your Honor, it's hard for me to address this court after listening to the pain and anguish expressed today. The terrible impact on the lives of so many women is difficult to hear and even more difficult to absorb, both in its scale and extent." Yeah, you shouldn't have done all that stuff. Okay. "I acknowledge their suffering and empathize, do ya, deeply with all the victims in this case. I also acknowledge that I have been a victim of helping Jeffrey Epstein commit these crimes." Take responsibility. "But I recognize that I'm also a victim, so why are you being so mean to me? I'm a victim. I'm a woman at the end of the day, god damn it. I realize I've been convicted of assisting Jeffrey Epstein to commit these crimes. My association with Epstein will permanently stain me." No, that's all right. They got a pretty good laundry service where you're going. It is the biggest regret of my life that I ever met him. Do we have to go back to the picture? It's not your regret. This is revisionist history, okay, with zero consequence, because at the end of the day, you're a horrific pedophile, but you're still a woman. I believe Jeffrey Epstein fooled all those in his orbit. It's a big orbit, okay, unless this guy is like the biggest seducer of all time. I don't think he fooled everybody, but okay, whatever. His victims considered him a mentor, friend, lover. Jeffrey Epstein should have stood before you in 2005, in 2009, and again in 2019. But today, it is for me to be sentenced. Yeah, he was going to, but unfortunately, man, just the guilt overwhelmed him, and he definitely 100%, legitimately killed himself, as unconvincingly as that remains. His impact upon all of those who were close to him has been devastating. Victims considered him a godfather, a mentor, you're repeating yourself, a benefactor, a friend, a lover. Did you start to cry, or did you just start to fuck up your own speech that you had prepared? It is absolutely unfathomable today to think that was how he viewed contemporaneously. His impact on all those close to him has been devastating. I'm sorry for the pain that you have experienced. I hope my conviction and harsh incarceration brings you closure. Again, a club fed, really? Fucking Connecticut, really? $750,000 down from the millions of dollars that you're going to have in trust. Okay, really? I hope this brings the women who have suffered some measure of peace and finality to help you put those experiences of so many years in a place that allows you to look back, or to look forward and not back. Yes, never look back. Just think of me, though, wasting away in a prison cell. I also acknowledge the pain this case has wrought to those I love. I'm sure that's supposed to be pain, but whatever. It's the Daily Mail. Copy editors don't exist. The many I held and still hold close. The relationships I've lost and I will never be able to regain. Yeah, like your boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein, who... I also acknowledge that this is my sincerest wish to all those in this courtroom and all those outside the courtroom, that today brings a terrible chapter to an end. You shouldn't have committed crimes, wouldn't have went to jail. And to those of you who spoke here today and those who did not because they can't, because they were strangled, may this day help you travel through the darkness and into the light. And by the way, I am not suicidal. I am not... Anyways, you have Sarah Ransom and Elizabeth Stein right there, and apparently it must have been either very exciting or cold inside the courtroom. All right, then. They look much more sad when it's sketched out, though. Whatever. The rest of it just goes over a lot of the details from the trial, where it's like, oh, Epstein made me, I don't know, stuff something up his ass while he fucking jerked off, but whatever. I don't really care about all of that stuff at the end of the day, okay? Next time I talk about this is probably when she's like, oh my god, she was found to have hung herself in the jail cell. Who could have ever seen that happen? Ugh, God, whatever. I don't look forward to that. Hopefully she lives a long, tortured life. Don't really care about her. Just know how this is going to end. Everybody knows how this is going to end. But again, this would just be a funny experiment, okay? If we could ever get accurate statistics on this. Who has a higher body count, the Clinton family or Jeffrey Epstein? With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.